Are you a federal employee?
No.
Huh?
Yes.
No, he said he's a federal employee.
Congresswoman, what do you have to say about the fact that FEMA just spent $59 million housing illegal immigrants while people in Western North Carolina lived in tents for the past 4 months? What do you have to say about that? The fact that Doge exposed FEMA for sending $59 million to house illegal immigrants today.
So while the Democrats continue to hoot and holler in the streets, acting completely deranged, President Trump and Elon Musk and our entire administration are going to continue to go line by line and treat this federal government like a business. Money in, money out. And what do we actually need to spend money on to advance America's interests? That is our goal here.
What about the groceries? Have they come down yet? I don't give a fuck about grocery price.
Far, this is the biggest meltdown from the left. Karoline Leavitt completely took apart the woke Democrats with just one appearance on TV. This time, she didn't just defeat them, she hit them hard. She openly told them that they and their biased media are just out-of-touch activists who can't see that their agenda is falling apart. Before I show you how she did it, check out this newly found video that reveals everything they've been doing. It'll shock you.
$1 million a week that comes on the airplane and comes into Afghanistan. So the plane comes in weekly. The amount of money on the plane weekly is 43 million to 87 million. But one thing I want Americans to understand is in that bucket of the 40 million we send each week, we are paying basically welfare to the Taliban martyrs' families. So every Taliban member who died during the war with us, the U.S. government is paying them a stipend, the family. So our families of Americans who died there aren't getting squat, but we are paying Taliban families for basically dying while attacking us.
Whoa.
Yes, we're funding that.
This is just enraging.
And, you know, I asked a couple of people that question straight out, like, do you not think this is not ethically correct? And actually, one person gave me an answer of, well, it'll stop them from joining ISIS. I'm like, the Taliban guy's already dead. Like, they give you these bullshit excuses as to why they're funding, like, our enemies. So...
Well, I think that's a huge problem in America to begin with, is making excuses
for terrorist sympathizing and not paying attention to the fucking money.
For those who don't know her, she's a former CIA targeting officer and counterterrorism expert. The reason you haven't heard about her is because Politico blocks people from seeing these kinds of truths. It's crazy that they send all this money overseas while doing nothing to help U.S. citizens. They spend millions on immigrants but ignore real issues affecting Americans. That's ridiculous. And this isn't even the worst part. A former IRS agent has now come forward, backing Karoline and revealing how they manipulate the system, brainwashing Americans with one dishonest idea. If you've heard about this before, let me know in the comments.
Federal Reserve is not federal. How many of you did not know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal? If you didn't, don't be shy. If you didn't know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal, raise your hand. Most people don't know that. 9 out of 10 people that I asked off the street don't understand that the Federal Reserve is a non-auditable private banking cartel. They are collecting $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. My children, my 2 children, were born $86,000 in debt based on the national debt. Now, why am I going to take away from those children to give to somebody that is going to be born in 2030? That's not going to happen. So that was my decision. It was very easy. You know, you think about stuff like fear. Oh, the IRS is going to get you. They're going to take your stuff. That's not important to me. Stuff's not important to me. My children are important to me. I'm one of those mothers that will roll up her sleeves with one leg and try to whoop you if you mess with my children. And I think that a lot of mothers are like that. So this is what my decision was. And I went on and started educating people. One of the things that people asked me once I made this decision and started talking about it, how are we going to run the country without the income tax? I don't know how much Dan got into it, but the Grace Commission report that Ronald Reagan put out in 84, says that none of the money collected in income tax goes towards running the country. But the bottom line is it's not going towards running the country, so You patriotic people out there, you've been fooled. Beardsley Rummel, he was Federal Reserve Chairman back in 1946, did a speech before the American Bar Association. The title of his speech was Taxes for Revenue Are Obsolete. Within the body of this report, he says that the taxes, the income taxes for redistribution of wealth. What is redistribution of wealth? What is that? That's taking...
People don't even know about this. When Trump talked about taxes, woke liberals went crazy. Meanwhile, the leftist media keeps twisting the truth about what he's actually doing. They're also making wild claims, calling Elon Musk a terrorist, and focusing on pointless topics like race and gender.
Sorry, I'm laughing because this has to be a joke. The word wife is an example of the type of language that we need to eliminate. And I'm just asking if that's something you think is necessary or something you support.
I'd have to give that one some more thought.
If there's a pilot who is offended by the word wife or the word cockpit, maybe that person shouldn't be a pilot. So rather than kowtowing to people who are fragile, maybe we should actually say, if you're so worried about the words that we are using, you shouldn't be flying multi-ton metal engines through the sky. And I just ask all of us to maybe try to focus as much on real problems, like the fact that our aviation system seems to not be working as well as it used to, than the fact that we may use uninclusive or under-inclusive language.
People today are blinded by the woke mindset and don't even realize the mess they're in. Just look at how Karoline Leavitt stepped up, exposing these woke clowns and teaching them what really matters.
President Trump and Elon Musk and our entire administration are going to continue to go line by line and treat this federal government like a business. Money in, money out. And what do we actually need to spend money on to advance America's interests? That is our goal here. That's all that's happening. Anything else is fear-mongering by the left because they don't have a real message and they're deranged. There's no other way to put it.
Honestly, with Karoline calling them out and spitting facts right in their faces, I'm 100% sure the Democrats will never learn from their mistakes.